just passed the front hallway, and imagine my shock seeing you all dressed up and sneaking out like some spoiled debutante. Where exactly do you think you're going, Don't tell me you're skipping your duties to go weep over that old man in a box. I'm going to my father's funeral. That's not up for debate, Gretchen. Excuse me? You're walking out while the sink is full, the laundry is piled to the ceiling, and my son is waiting on breakfast? What kind of wife puts a dead man over her living, breathing husband? My father raised me with dignity. He was a kind, generous man. Nothing like what I see in this house. I will be there when they lay him to rest. That's the least he deserves. Oh, spare me the theatrics. You act like you're some tragic heroine, when really you've been nothing but a disappointment from the moment you said I do. If you walk out that door, you'd better pray you come back crawling. This house is falling apart and you're off to play mourning daughter like it's a stage production. Honestly, I don't know how Matthew puts up with you. I'm not missing my father's funeral. Say what you want, throw whatever tantrum makes you feel in control, but I'm going. You ungrateful brat! You owe this family your respect! You owe me! I owe my father a final goodbye, and I won't let anyone stop me from giving it to him. You're going to regret defying me, girl. Maybe it's time someone reminded you who's in charge in this house. Did you enjoy your little bath, sweetheart? You should be thanking me. You looked positively ridiculous trying to sneak off all dressed in black like some tragic widow. A nice bucket of ice water brings reality crashing down real fast, doesn't it? I was on my way to my father's funeral. And you thought dumping a bucket of water on me was somehow justified? I was soaked to the bone, Gretchen, in public, in front of the neighbors. Oh, calm down. What, did your mascara run a little? You'll live. A little cold water never killed anyone, though that tantrum you threw was downright embarrassing. You stood there grinning while I froze and tried to catch my breath. That wasn't just cruel, it was calculated. You wanted to humiliate me. Of course I did. That's the only way to get through to you. You never listen when I'm being reasonable, so I had to get creative. You think you can live under my roof, eat our food, wear our name, and then waltz around like your own boss? You think being Matthew's wife gives you freedom to just ignore your responsibilities? And all for what? To go crying over a coffin? He was my father, a good man, the one person who actually made me feel like I mattered. And now he's gone, and all I wanted was to say goodbye, but you couldn't even let me have that. Don't turn this into a drama, Megan. This isn't about your dead father. It's about you throwing away your place in this family, wanting to work, skipping your chores, talking back to me. It's disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. You know what's disgraceful? Treating your daughter-in-law like a maid, like a prisoner. Me wanting a job isn't about shaming Matthew. It's about being a full human being, something you've tried to strip from me since the day I moved in. You selfish, prideful little brat. You'll humiliate this family just to feel important. A wife who wants to work is a wife who thinks her husband can't provide. You want people whispering about us at church? At brunch? If you go to that funeral, don't you dare come back here afterward. This home won't have room for traitors. You step out that door, and it's permanent. Matthew doesn't need some weak-willed, moody, job-chasing woman dragging him down. Then I won't come back. And if you think slamming the door on me is some kind of victory, go ahead, add it to your list. But I'm done living in your house of rules and fear. I'll mourn my father with dignity, something you'll never understand. You're nothing but a burden. I told Matthew not to marry you. I knew you'd bring trouble. Maybe now you'll finally realize I was right all along. You were never good enough for this family, and now the whole world will know it.
Madam, I do hope I'm not intruding. I was informed you had planned to return to the residence sometime tomorrow morning. May I inquire, at what hour shall I be expecting you? And, if it would not be presumptuous, would you prefer I retrieve you personally? It would, as always, be my great honor to do so.
Maxwell, you're a rare light in an otherwise dreadful day. Thank you for thinking of me. Truly. But plans have changed. Pretty drastically, actually. I won't be coming back tomorrow. I'm not waiting. I'm leaving today. I'm halfway through packing now. Just the essentials for the moment. Things I don't want her fingers touching once I'm gone.
I beg your pardon, but may I ask, has something happened? You sound resolute, with an edge I don't often hear from you.
Something happened, yes. Something unforgivable. Let's just say the gloves are off. I'm done walking on eggshells. I'm done pretending this house is a home. I'm leaving, Maxwell, and I'm not looking back.
Madam, forgive me, but I cannot suppress a quiet note of relief. You deserve far more than the treatment you've endured behind those wretched walls. And though I had imagined this change would come someday soon, I did not anticipate it arriving with such sudden urgency.
Believe me, neither did I. I thought I could hold out a little longer, maybe wait until everything's settled. But this morning, it was the final straw. Gretchen, she actually dumped a bucket of ice water on me while I was trying to get into the car.
Ice water? On you? Forgive me, but that is astoundingly barbaric. A gesture of staggering cruelty, even by her rather refined standards of villainy.
I was in my black dress, Maxwell, the one I'd picked for my father's funeral. I hadn't even made it down the walkway before she stormed out and soaked me like I was some stray animal. I was shivering, and she just stood there, smiling.
I am struggling to maintain civility, madam. Her behavior is unconscionable, inexcusable, and utterly devoid of decency.
Yeah, you can say that again. I would have used a bit more profanity, but that's just me. God, that woman made me so mad today.
Then there is nothing more to discuss. You are not returning to that house. Not tonight, not ever. I shall begin preparing your room here immediately. And if I may offer something to soothe your spirit, shall I prepare your favorite meal for this evening? Pan-seared duck breast with the rosemary glaze? And perhaps the garlic whipped potatoes you always pretend not to finish?
Oh, Maxwell, if you made that tonight, I swear I might cry. That sounds perfect. No, better than perfect. I want a full plate. No dainty portions tonight. I want to eat like someone who's finally free.
As you wish, madam. I shall prepare it exactly as you like, and as much as your heart desires. And if the duck should prove too heavy, I could always pivot to the emergency backup. Grilled cheese and tomato soup. The one with the fancy bread and the slice of cheddar you once called emotionally restorative.
Maxwell, you absolute gem. That's exactly what I need. Honestly, forget the duck. I want the grilled cheese, the buttery one with the crispy edges, and soup so hot it burns my tongue just a little.
Consider it done, and I shall make 2 sandwiches, not 1, because this is a reclamation meal, not a modest supper.
I love you. Platonically, but fiercely.
Then with your blessing, I shall place a call to Mr. Fenton at once. He's always assured me that when the time came, he'd be ready. Papers drawn, contingencies planned, assets protected. It seems that day has finally arrived.
I can't tell you how much it means to me that you're already 5 steps ahead. Everything I needed to prepare, you helped me with in silence. Thanks to you, I packed up what mattered most weeks ago, and no one even noticed.
It was my distinct pleasure to assist you, madam. I took no joy in watching you suffer, but it has been my quiet honor to ensure you would be ready the moment you chose to walk. Truth be told, I rather hoped you'd have made this decision sooner.
I wanted to. God, did I want to. But I couldn't. Not while my father was still alive. He worried enough as it was. I couldn't let him see how miserable I really was. He thought I was happily married. I let him believe that to the very end.
Madam, your devotion was not in vain. You showed extraordinary restraint for love, not weakness. That is a testament to your character, not your tolerance for abuse.
I appreciate you saying that, Maxwell. And as of tonight, I'm officially done. I'm done being the one who smiles and nods while they trample over me. I'm done pretending that silence is strength, that endurance is virtue, that letting them treat me like dirt somehow makes me noble. I did what I had to do while my father was still here, but now I'm going to pay them back. Every insult, every manipulation, every smug look she ever gave me while sipping her tea like she owned the world. I'm going to pay them back double.
I must say, madam, hearing you speak so boldly is positively invigorating. If I may be so candid, they are not particularly sharp adversaries. Their cruelty is loud, but their intellect is delightfully shallow. If you give me a week, I could probably get your mother-in-law to sign her retirement fund over to a house plant.
Maxwell! Oh my god, that actually made me laugh. I haven't laughed like that in, God, I don't even know how long.
Then I shall endeavor to weaponize wit more frequently. It is, after all, my greatest pleasure to put a smile on your face. I've already confirmed Mr. Fenton is available this evening should you wish to review or sign any documents. I've also informed the staff at your father's townhouse to begin light preparations for your arrival. And yes, your pale blue robe is freshly pressed and waiting on your bed just as you prefer it folded.
I honestly don't know what I would have done without you, Maxwell. You've done more than serve. You've protected me, watched over me, cared for me when no one else even noticed I was suffering. You made it possible for me to survive in that house, and now you're helping me leave it.
Madam, to serve this family has always been an honor. But to serve you, to guard what is rightfully yours and preserve your dignity when others failed to see it, has been the greatest distinction of my career.
Thank you, truly. I feel like for the first time in years, I can finally breathe, and now I know what I want to do with that breath. I want to fight back. I want to take everything they tried to crush in me and use it to bury them.
Then you shall not do it alone, madam. Not as long as I draw breath. Wherever you go, whatever you decide, know that I shall always be at your side. I serve the legacy of this family, and you are that legacy.
Where the hell are you, Megan? It's been 24 hours. You said you were going to your father's funeral, not disappearing off the face of the earth. Matthew had to eat leftovers last night. Leftovers! Do you have any idea how humiliating that was for him? Humiliating for him, or just inconvenient for you? Pretty sure he managed to microwave something without collapsing. Or did you both sit there weeping over the cold mashed potatoes I didn't fluff up for you? Don't you dare get cheeky with me, young lady! You think this is funny? Abandoning your husband, neglecting your duties, running off like some rebellious teenager. Have you lost your mind completely? You told me not to come back, remember that? Or was your little tantrum just for show? Because I took you at your word, Gretchen. And I have to say, this is the best I've slept in years. Oh, you smug little ingrate. You think you're clever now? You think I won't drag you back by your hair if I have to? I knew you were trouble the second Matthew brought you home. I told him, but no, he just had to marry the pathetic little charity case. Maybe I should have beat that rebellious streak out of you years ago, and maybe now I still will. You walk back through that door, and you better come crawling, you hear me? Wow, you really do go from zero to medieval in record time. But here's the problem. I'm not coming back. Not crawling, not walking, not ever. You don't get to treat people like garbage and expect them to beg for more. Huh! And what exactly do you think you're going to do now? You don't have a job. You don't have a place of your own. You're a spoiled little housewife with no money and no future. And when you come running back, and you will, you'll do so properly. Head bowed, lips shut, apron on. Don't waste your energy worrying about my finances. I've got things handled. And as for your son, I won't be his wife much longer. What did you just say? What do you mean you won't be his wife? What are you planning, Megan? Just a courtesy heads up. I submitted the divorce papers to the courthouse this morning. As of today, Matthew and I are no longer married, and I'd appreciate if you kept your hysterics out of my inbox from now on. You did what? You had one job. No, that's not possible. You forged those papers, didn't you? You signed them yourself and filed them like some scheming little criminal. You can't just end a marriage like that! You think this is a joke? Take a breath, Gretchen. It's real. It's done. And I didn't forge a thing. Matthew wrote up those papers himself months ago, signed every page. All I did was follow through. No! He would never do that! He's not stupid! What did you do to him? What lies did you whisper in his ear? You must have tricked him, manipulated him. That's the only explanation. He didn't need any tricks. We agreed before the wedding we'd both work, but after the vows, he changed everything. Told me to stay home, said it was better for the image. Then used that against me, said I had no power, no money, threatened me with those papers. So I filed them. Simple. You disgusting little parasite! You're going to regret this. I'll drag you through court for every penny you've got. I'll ruin you. You hear me? I'll ruin you! Go ahead. File whatever you like. You'll be wasting your time and your energy. What does that mean? I just got off the phone with Matthew's lawyer. Do you know how much he has to pay you? Do you have any shame? You bled him dry. You've ruined his finances. This is robbery, you manipulative little snake. You should be the one paying him after everything you put him through. Gretchen, please. We both know that's not true, and frankly, I'm not in the mood for revisionist history. You know exactly who wrecked this marriage, and it's not me. You've known about Matthew's mistress for over a year. You didn't just look the other way, you welcomed her. That is a filthy, malicious lie, and you know it. I never approved of that girl. I told him to end it countless times. Really? That's funny, because the wine glasses I found in your kitchen, 2 lipstick shades. Neither of them mine. And the dinner reservations in your name seated for 3? Me, him, and his mistress? That's quite the coincidence. Then there's the pictures I have of them together, the hotel visits, all the gifts he gave her. Text messages between them having all sorts of vomit-inducing, lovey-dovey, adulterous conversations. I could go on, shall I? You want to talk about evidence? You want to play the victim now? You're the one who turned him into a shell of himself. You nagged him. You shamed him. No man could survive that. Of course he strayed. Any man would have. My lawyer said it's the most thoroughly documented infidelity case he's ever handled. And you knew. Don't you dare pretend you didn't. I sent you the texts, the bank statements, the surveillance photos. And you know, Gretchen, I can't help but notice that you've stopped denying it and have moves on to justifying it. There's nothing for me to justify. This was all your doing. You were cold, selfish, obsessed with independence. You never loved my son. You just wanted a wallet and a pretty house. No, Gretchen, I wanted a partnership. I wanted what Matthew promised me when we got married. We agreed we'd both work. He told me he respected my career. Then he changed the rules overnight. You're not getting a single cent, you hear me? You think some judge is going to hand over half of Matthew's hard-earned money to a woman who sat around dusting throw pillows for 2 years? I'll fight you until you've got nothing left but your smug little smirk. Then pack a lunch, Gretchen. It's going to be a long fight. I'm not scared of your threats anymore. I know the law, and I've got an airtight case. Your son made sure of that when he put everything in writing. You tricked him! He didn't understand what he was signing. You must have cornered him. You used his generosity against him like a snake in the grass. Generosity? He literally said I can end this marriage anytime I want. He weaponized those papers against me, so I turned them in. It's poetic, really. You manipulative little brat. You don't deserve anything but a slap and a locked door. You think this court system is going to save you? That some lawyer is going to care about your little tantrum? I'll find someone better, stronger, richer, and I'll tear your case apart piece by piece. Good luck with that. If you can find a lawyer willing to work pro bono for a woman yelling in all caps, let me know. But just in case, tell them to bring tissues. You're going to need them when the judge reads the ruling. You're enjoying this. You enjoying this, aren't you? You always wanted to destroy us. You were just waiting for your moment. But don't think for 1 second that I'm going to let you get the best of us. You think you've won because of some papers? You think being smug in text messages means anything in the real world? Let me remind you, lawyers cost money, sweetheart. And last I checked, you don't have any. You really love telling yourself that, don't you? Like, if you say it enough, it'll be true. You have no idea what I have, but you'll find out soon enough. And when you do, I hope you remember this exact moment. Don't you dare threaten me! You're still nothing but a freeloader, a thief! A filthy little gold digger terrified that the hand that fed her is now clenched into a fist. So you're free to keep gloating, Megan. Say all that you want to me. keep acting like you're invincible. I've seen women like you fall harder than you could imagine. You don't know what it's like to lose everything, but you will. That's the difference between you and me, Gretchen. I already did lose everything, and I rebuilt myself anyway. You're about to lose for the first time in your life, and you'll have no idea what to do when you do. You smug little... What do you keep talking like you somehow have the upper hand here? What do you know that I don't? Megan, answer me! The gas is off, and the water too. What the hell is going on? We haven't had hot water since last night, and now the stove won't light. Did you do something, Megan? Oh, Gretchen, I was waiting for this message. You didn't know, did you? You had no idea that I was the one paying the bills. Every light in that house, every meal, that was me. What are you talking about? You're a housewife. You didn't even have a job. That's what you thought, but while you were playing Queen of the Manor, I was working from home every day. Matthew left the finances to me, all of them, because he didn't like paperwork. No, that can't be true. You cooked, you cleaned, you ran errands. You didn't have time to work. I made time. I've been doing my own taxes since I was 19. Neither of you noticed a thing. I was helping my parents with their company, freelance contract work, remote support. They paid me generously for it. You ungrateful little brat. They spoiled you rotten. That money wasn't yours. That money was earned, every cent. And guess what? That wasn't even my main source of income. When my parents passed, they left me everything. Their shares, their assets, their estate. I'll never have to worry about money for the rest of my life. No. This isn't possible. Matthew told me you had nothing. Matthew didn't know anything, Gretchen. He never cared enough to ask. And I never corrected him, because it was easier that way. But now that you're cut off, you're going to learn just how much I handled while you sat back and barked orders. So what? You think this makes you some kind of hero? All of this is just a stunt, a pathetic sob story so you can play victim in court. Oh no, I'm not playing anything. I'm suing, and I'm pressing charges. Assault, Gretchen. Dumping ice water on someone isn't discipline. It's battery. See you in court.
Madam, forgive the intrusion, but I wished to check in. Have you managed to settle in comfortably for the evening? I confess I'm somewhat ashamed not to have had the guest wing arranged in full before your arrival. I had hoped for another few days to ensure everything was polished to your standards.
Oh, Maxwell, stop that right now. You've done more than anyone could have asked. The room was warm. The bed was made. The sheets smelled like lavender. The water was hot. And those lemon tarts, they practically melted in my mouth. I haven't felt that kind of comfort in, I don't even know how long.
You are most gracious, madam. It was your father's wish that this home always remain a sanctuary, and to serve his daughter now, as she steps forward from hardship into freedom, is not only my duty, it is my privilege.
He would have been so proud of you, you know? The way you've protected me, prepared everything in silence. I felt safer here in one night than I did during the last 3 years in that house.
Your safety, your dignity, and your peace have always been of the highest priority. That your former household failed to respect those things remains, in my view, a moral failure beyond excuse. Madam, I assure you, You were never alone. You are the one who endured the gaslighting, the silence, the lies. You were the one who sat in that dining room, smiling through dinners while your world crumbled behind your back. I simply gave shape to the story you already lived. You handed me the truth. I merely organized it.
It was hard. I won't pretend it wasn't. Looking at those photos, reading those messages, seeing the hotel receipts with her name next to his. There were nights I'd go to bed wondering if I had just imagined it all. But every time you added a detail, every folder you updated, it reminded me I'm not crazy. And now, I think we actually have a shot. A real one. To win. To take them down. To make them pay.
You are far stronger than you give yourself credit for, madam. And yes, with what we've assembled, paired with your composure and the strategic filings, there is no doubt in my mind that you will prevail. But, if I may speak plainly, I do not believe justice has yet been fully served. Not truly.
What do you mean? I've filed the divorce, I've pressed charges, I've frozen the assets. What more is there left for me to do? If I keep going, I'm going to start feeling like the villain in a revenge novel.
That would only be true if the villains hadn't earned it, madam. And in this case, well, their hands are stained, their mouths are full of lies. You've taken legal steps, logical ones, but consequences born of conscience, real conscience, have yet to find them. And perhaps that is not your burden to carry. Perhaps something greater is watching, and perhaps that something is not yet finished with them.
Are you saying what I think you're saying? That karma's not done with them yet?
I am saying only this. I have served in this household for over 30 years, and in that time I have seen what happens when cruelty runs unchecked. The world has a curious way of correcting things, slowly, and not always loudly, but always precisely.
Do you really think they'll get what they deserve without me lifting another finger? Because I've done so much already. I don't know how much more I have in me.
I think you've lifted enough. And sometimes the fall is far more devastating when no one is there to catch them. Rest, madam. The storm may not be over, but for once it is not yours to weather.
You need to come back, now! I've had it. The house is a wreck. Laundry everywhere, dishes stacked in the sink, dust on everything! Matthew's salary doesn't cover half the expenses. He's barely scraping by. He's anxious, I'm exhausted, and it's all because you decided to run off like some self-righteous martyr. Oh no, poor Matthew, struggling to microwave his leftovers and find the hamper. And here I thought a big strong man like him didn't need his wife. That's what you always said, isn't it? Men lead, women follow. Funny how quickly the leader falls apart without his so-called burden around. I'm not joking, Megan. You left us to rot. You threw this entire household into chaos with your tantrum and your fake victim routine. And don't think I didn't notice the timing. You left right before bills were due. Real convenient. This is still your mess. You don't get to walk away like you had nothing to do with it. Correction, Matthew and I are divorced. You made it very clear I wasn't welcome back. Remember the part where you said, "Don't bother coming home"? You meant it then, but now that the house is falling apart, suddenly I'm family again? That's cute. Well, someone needs to clean this place. Someone needs to help. Try hiring a maid or a butler. Lord knows you love barking orders at someone. Or better yet, give Matthew's mistress a call. Maybe she folds laundry and ruins marriages. She left him! That little floozy ran the second the money dried up. Took the jewelry, the handbags, and disappeared. Didn't even say goodbye. You think this is funny? You think it's amusing watching us fall apart? You wanted this, didn't you? You planned this. I didn't have to plan a thing. You two did all the work for me. Matthew poured every cent into that girl. Gifts, spa days, designer nonsense. No savings left. No utilities paid. All while I was the one keeping the house running behind the scenes. That was your job. You lived here rent-free, ate our food, took our name, and now you're just gone? Yep, gone, with a clean conscience and a court ruling in my favor. And let's not forget, you still owe me. That settlement wasn't optional. If I don't see that money soon, I'll let the court know. Again. You can't just abandon your family. That's not how this works. I didn't abandon anyone. I escaped. And if you think I'm coming back to clean up your disaster, you're more delusional than I thought. You need to fix this, Megan. You owe us! Megan, have you seen Matthew? It's been 2 days. I haven't heard a word from him. He left the house in the middle of the night and never came back. His phone's off. His friends haven't seen him. Is he with you? You have to tell me. Trust me, Gretchen. If Matthew were anywhere near me, I'd have already called security. I don't tolerate uninvited pests. And frankly, I'm enjoying the silence. He was tricked. Someone scammed him into borrowing money from a loan shark. He thought it was a low-interest private lender, some kind of quick cash scheme. And now they're after him. They're demanding the work for them, or else, well, or else. Oh no, what a shock. A grown man made a shady deal without reading the fine print? Say it ain't so. You'd think someone who carries a briefcase would know how to read. This isn't funny, Megan. He didn't know what he was signing. He thought it was legit. He made a mistake. He was deceived. Was he also deceived when he made you the guarantor? Because I'm guessing that part wasn't exactly accidental. Yes, he listed me. The collectors have already come by the house twice. They're knocking on my door at night. I don't know where he is. He took what little money we had and just vanished. He's left me to deal with this mess, and you're just sitting there laughing? Oh, I'm not laughing. I'm observing, and what I see is poetic justice. But hey, if you've got loan shark cash floating around, then you definitely have enough to pay off that court-ordered judgment for assault and harassment. I have nothing left! Then I guess we'll have to start seizing assets. Furniture, jewelry, whatever sentimental heirlooms you haven't pawned yet. You spent years living off other people. Let's see how you do when they start collecting. You can't do this to me! Watch me. Maxwell, I don't suppose you had anything to do with Matthew's little disappearing act, did you? Just wondering, since the timing is a bit too perfect.
Madam, I assure you, I have done nothing. Not directly, at least. You'll be pleased to know that I've remained well within the bounds of the law.
Not directly, huh? That word is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence.
Well, I may have casually shared the details of your divorce over tea with an old acquaintance, someone with, shall we say, connections. I might have mentioned Matthew's recklessness, his financial desperation, his lack of impulse control. But again, madam, I did nothing more than speak over Earl Grey.
Uh-huh. And what happened after that lovely tea time? Just a coincidence, I'm sure. Matthew borrowed money from a loan shark, listed his mother as the guarantor, vanished into thin air. That's a hell of a coincidence, Maxwell.
Perhaps. Or perhaps it's the universe doing what it does best, correcting things. Matthew wounded you, squandered everything he had, and dug his own grave. I merely handed him another shovel.
Maxwell, who are you, really? Because I'm starting to think Butler doesn't quite cover it.
Oh, me? I assure you, madam, I'm not but an ordinary butler. I'm simply a man who irons shirts, cooks a mean grilled cheese sandwich, and remembers everything.
Matthew didn't stay hidden for long. The loan sharks found him eventually, dragged him off to work off what he owed. I can only imagine what that means, but I won't lose sleep over it. As for Gretchen, she had to sell the house to pay down the debts he left behind, and she still owes more. At her age, I'm not sure how she plans to make up the rest. I considered pressing criminal charges, but I didn't. I already won the civil case, and let's be honest, if she got sent to jail, she'd just get free meals and a roof over her head. That'd be a gift. I've moved on. I'm working full-time now, running my parents' company, just like I always wanted. And in the evenings, I come home to quiet, warm meals and conversations with Maxwell. That's more peace than I've had in years. I intend to keep it.